am now outside the church here in Oświęcim, Poland. To my right are the guard towers. In the distance, remains of some ruins are still able to be seen. And this is the barbed wire. Many people were trapped on the other side and unable to come out and escape. And this was the separation from many people. This wire. There are many plots of guard stands here. I can see about 6. There must have been many guards watching over this place here in Auschwitz. We're going to now make our way down now into Auschwitz. Okay, let's go. I'm really curious what this small mount is, this little hill. I'm not sure what this could be, but it's on the outside of the fence, so I'm not sure what the purpose may be. I am now at the final stop, the last stop, where many people across Europe arrived, and they came here at the concentration camp here in Oświęcim in Poland. Many people got tortured, even sent to gas chambers here, over 1.1 million people. So in today's video, I'm going to take you inside and we're going to have a look, see the remains of the gas chambers and see what it's like inside the concentration camp in Oświęcim. So behind me is the front of the concentration camp, and this is the railway which many people would arrive days, maybe traveling, separated from their family, had no food. And this is the front. You can see it's like a place where many people visit as well, because people have their family members that once came through these gates. In the years of 1940 to 1941, German occupants expelled the Poles inhabitants of the villages, and the names of the villages here. Germans funded the death camp Auschwitz and its economic and industrial base on the site of the demolished or taken buildings. So this is the queue at the front. Let's go. It's getting really busy here. All right, so this is the queue at the front. So this looks like a bookstore. Here is some information here of the people that arrived. So I can see there are mothers. These are women and they have their children with them. Looks like they're carrying their bags, something, maybe their personal items. Exactly here, what you can see was the final and last stop here in Auschwitz at the concentration camp in Oświęcim. So at the top, you can see was where the guardsmen were with their torches, still looking over the concentration camp. As you can see now, to my left, there are some house ruins that were demolished when the Nazis found out that they were losing. And you can see the chimney still remaining. I'm now approaching one of the small wagons which they would arrive here in at the concentration camp in Auschwitz. Really small.
We'll walk along this road of death where these people after selection were now changed.
This is a freight car to commemorate the Jews deported from Hungary that were murdered by the German Nazis in Auschwitz. It says here, in more than 100 transport during the spring and summer of 1944, on arrival, most of them were murdered in the gas chambers here. And this is what they once arrived in. People have left their flowers here as well, in memory. It must have been really hard for the people arriving into Auschwitz in the concentration camp, especially in conditions like this, crammed up in such a small carriage. Here is where the selection process was, as the SS doctor would select the newly arrived Jews, and then the rest of them would be sent off to the gas chambers. Here is the picture of where I'm stood now. Behind me is the wooden hut. There are many plots of guarding points, wooden huts where the guardsmen would watch over the concentration camp here in Oświęcim. The concentration camp is bigger than I thought it would be. Okay, so in front of me are the ruins that are still remaining, exactly how it was left after it was demolished once the Nazis knew they were losing. This is the actual gas chamber where they were sent. Many people were sent and they were told that they were coming to have a shower. And little did they know that they would be gassed, fumed. And this is the remainings. To my right are loads of brick houses going along here in this concentration camp. They are the houses where the people were kept in the concentration camp, and there are bunk beds in there still remaining, and there were so many people crammed up in there, suffering from illnesses, starvation, and mentally as well disturbed from the horrific tragedy what they've been going through once they arrived here, the concentration camp in Auschwitz. And this was the final stop where the lives of many would not leave to see the other side of these gates again. These wires were electric. I'm now making my way to the memorial. In memory of those that lost their lives in the concentration camp. This is where they arrived through these gates once they came off the wooden train, the wagon. You can see the mothers here with their children in this exact place where I am now. They were selected by the SS army, the Jews were, straight to their deaths once they arrived to the concentration camp. There is seriously a large amount of remains left over here. There is one bottle there left behind. It seems like a place where they would put possibly say 100 to 200 people crammed in that area. You can see the chimneys are still standing. All of the chimneys are still standing. Elderly people, kids, but the unable people they were sent off straight here. The SS selected them, the SS army selected the Jews once they arrived. To my left is a tank. And now I'm walking along the broken road, which has not been changed or reconstructed in Auschwitz. Looks like an escape route here, a hole which I can see, and it's all the way going on the other side as well. This is the prisoner barracks. So in this part of the camp, it was built of wood. In most cases, only brick built chimneys remain. And I can see the workers here. They was working digging the prisoners that were kept here in the concentration camp. It says here, concentration camp prisoners excavating the drainage ditch which ran along this fence. And here is the ditch which the prisoners were digging. And here is the ditch. This compound functioned as a quarantine camp for Jews and non-Jews from different countries during the period of August 1943 to November 1944. And the purpose of the quarantining was to identify those that might have infectious diseases that may infect others. And this is how it looks inside. And in front of me are the toilets, small tiny toilets here, plotted right next to each other. It's a really big concentration camp here. So this is another hut, a wooden hut here. So this photo was taken from the film Chronicle of the Liberation of Auschwitz 1945, a living barrack for prisoners adapted from a German army fled horse stable. In such barracks, planned originally for 51 horses, over 400 prisoners were placed here. So over 400 prisoners slept here. And this seems like it was probably a fireplace. You can see the roses here left behind. "400 people were piled up on top of each other inside here, on bunk beds, probably on the floor, next to each other, no space. I'm making my way now into the next barrack. It has a wooden smell inside here, an old wood smell. And these barracks, what you can see, were originally for horses, but the prisoners were kept inside. These barracks, here what you can see, they were originally for horses, but they were, for the purpose, they kept prisoners inside. This is it here, Auschwitz, the concentration camp in Oświęcim in Poland, where over 1.1 million people were mass murdered. So here it is, the railway track leading to the last stop that took the lives of many once they arrived here in this concentration camp. So Until next time, see me in the next video.